before we get into this one, if you could just hit that subscribe button down below, that would mean a massive amount to me. But without further ado though, let's get straight into the video. Now, Marc ROCA, as you can see behind me, is due to be announced as Leeds United player any day now. That could be tomorrow, on Friday when you're watching this on Thursday, or it could actually be Thursday itself. Now, Marc ROCA has been reported to sign for Leeds United for £10.4 million, which is a roughly 12 to 15 million euros, reported by Fabrizio Romano on Twitter. So, we're going to talk today about the pros and cons of this signing, because it is a very good price for a European midfielder from somebody like Bayern Munich, who obviously came from Espanyol, top flight Spanish team. This is a very good price, and it is something that Victor Orta has looked to do before with the likes of Junior Firpo and Rodrigo. Now, the one thing that makes me worried about this transfer is that Victor Orta likes to sign these players who are out of favour with their current club, haven't played much. Marc ROCA has not played much at all for Bayern Munich in the time that he's been there, and they like to get a good price for them because of that, bring them in and see if they can rediscover their old form. Now, Firpo hasn't managed to do that. Rodrigo, we've seen spells where he's been very good, but it's never been that fantastic. So it'll be interesting to see whether, obviously, this is going to happen, so it'll be interesting to see whether he does come good or whether he is another one of Orta's flops, where I just want to caveat that by saying Orta has made some very, very good signings, like Rafinha, and Bamford as well was an Orta signing. So let's not just say that we're completely tarring him with one brush and saying that he only signs players who are out of favour and who are going to actually do poorly for Leeds. But it is a possibility. Now, we were just talking about Rodrigo then, and the thing I was going to say about Rodrigo is, I watched a YouTube video where him and Jack Harrison were talking about their FIFA ratings and stuff like that, but he said that when he came to the Premier League, he noticed a big difference in the pacing between the Premier League and La Liga. Now, obviously, Marc ROCA has been playing for Bayern Munich for the last 2 years, but not really seen much game time. So the lion's share of his appearances have been for Espanyol in the top division in Spain. So he mostly is a La Liga player still. Most of his games have been there. That's where he applied his trade. That's where he got to the place he is now, basically. So it'll be interesting to see whether he can adapt to the change. I think usually that can be more of your less physical players, your attacking players who struggle to adapt a little bit. But a holding midfielder, I feel like he's not massive, but he's got a bit of weight about him. He seems strong, and he seems quite agile as well from the stuff that I've seen. So that's not so much of a concern for me, the pace of the game, especially considering the clips that I've seen of him. He's pretty good at wriggling out of danger when players are surrounded him, which will probably be an issue in Leeds' midfield, because Leeds' midfield is going to be very, very cramped next season, especially if we're going very narrow, especially against teams like Southampton who like to do the same thing. It's going to be so squished in there that you need a player like Marc ROCA, who is left-footed, so he's going to play on the left-hand side of that double pivot. And you need somebody like him who's able to wriggle out of a challenge and find a safe ball and then reset and go again. Which does actually lead me on to the thing that Jesse Marsch said about having our team at 100% all the time and wanting to be able to get our team to go back down to 70%. And basically to slow the game down so that we allow ourselves to reset, have a breather, and then go again on the attack. And Marc ROCA is the type of player who could do this very, very well because of his passing range, because of his calmness on the ball, and because of his ability to, like I say, wriggle out of a challenge. So that could be really important for Leeds next season, especially him sat on the left-hand side there. It allows the other player on the right-hand side to have a little bit more freedom as well, because they know that they're both holding midfielders. Then you don't have players like Mateusz Klich or Robin Koch playing out of position in those positions. You've got a reliable holding midfielder in Marc ROCA there. Well, I hope reliable, because he hasn't had much game time in the last couple of seasons. He's only played about 15 times for Bayern Munich. But before that, he was excellent for Espanyol. and he not only played safe back passes and sideways passes to retain possession, but he also progressed the ball well as well, and his passing range going forward is actually very good. There's a clip of him that was doing the rounds where he lobbed the ball over the whole Real Madrid defence, and basically it was one pass and they were in on goal, and I've actually seen multiple clips of him doing that against teams in La Liga, so that's the sort of thing you might be expecting to see somebody like Dan James with his absolute lightning pace running onto. So that's a really interesting side of him as well. He's also got that ability to shift the ball forward and to progressively pass the ball. Overall then, when we weigh up the positives and negatives, do I think this is a good signing? Well, yeah, I do, to be honest, because the price that we get him in for, about £10.4 million is the rumour, I don't think you can go wrong really, because we have tried to sign players in the past, Rodrigo, Dan James, 30, 25 million. When you start to spend that sort of money and they do flop, it's a lot worse for your investment basically. But because this is only going to cost £10.5 million pretty much, it's not actually that much of a risk for a Premier League club, especially if we're bringing in 4 or 5 players this summer to supplement the squad. So I don't think it's that much of a risk. I think that it's a bit of a different situation to Junior Firpo, because I can see Marc ROCA's his potency and his ability at Espanyol before he went to Bayern Munich, and apparently, according to people inside Bayern, he hasn't actually had any training issues or any attitude issues. What he's done is he's absolutely worked his pan out trying to get into the first team, but like I said in my previous video about him, he's got players in front of him that are really, really good European established midfielders, and they've just signed Ryan Gravenberch from Ajax, who's another holding midfielder who's about 3 or 4 years younger than him. So he's not got any path to the first team, and hence why he wants to leave, and apparently has turned down a couple of Spanish clubs to come to Leeds United. So he's hungry, he wants to work, he wants to play for Leeds United, and he's left-footed on the left-hand side of that double pivot, so I think he could be an excellent addition to Leeds United. Like I say, he should be announced by now. Even if he's not, it'll be the next day. It'll be any day now, so after he's through the door, we're going to look at some more transfers, because we need a backup striker and potentially a backup left-back as well. So I think there could be 2 more deals to be done this transfer window, but it's actually quite amazed me how quick we've moved. Basically, we could have 3 signings, and we're not even halfway through the transfer window yet, so that's fantastic news for Leeds. So stay tuned on the Leeds Lately channel. I'll get as many videos out as I can in the next few weeks and months about these transfers and about anything else that comes up Leeds news wise. So thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you next time on Leeds Lately.